What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 8 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Lord Skrolk Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Skrolk is rising. With the Archplague Lord's touch available to him now, he is a lot stronger and able to do a lot more damage in fights himself. And that, keep in mind, without a single point yet spent in his fighty tree. He's just a caster for now, but he can do plenty of damage with his active abilities as well as his passive abilities as well. It's working pretty well. In addition to that, with all of the agreements broken between us and the Awakened, we are preparing for the major war that will happen between us and them. This is probably going to be the last major war within Lustria, as I don't imagine the Jade Court will be too difficult to deal with, though they do have nearly as many territories as the Awakened. We shall see. It depends on whether we catch them during their war with Hexoatl still, and if we do, I would wager that since their forces are probably up here, we'll be able to quickly decimate them before they know what's happening. Now, in terms of what we got to do this turn, or this episode, and in general, the Hunts Marshal's expeditions still have to be destroyed, but their defeat trait has turned out to be so good for so many of the Skaven armies that I'm inclined to say that we may want to try to acquire it on a few more lords for Skrolky. And in fact, we are going to make an Eshin army with this thing, the Shuriken Mayhem thing, giving range and missile strength for Night Runners and Gutter Runners, and missile strength and range would be buffed another 10% if we were able to get the Marcus Wolfhard defeat trait on this guy. So we are going to summon this guy, Metastone, right beside Skrolk, and we'll hope to try to find him that defeat trait. Lastly, we'll probably want his defeat trait, if possible, on Toxer, and also, again, if possible, on another Warlock Master with Encased Warp Engines, either for a fire army, because extra range on Warp Fire for throwers, yes please, or on a Poison Wind army in general, or, you know, ideally both, but I guess there's probably a limit to the degree to which we should probably farm Wolfheart. Although, leaving him alive and farming his defeat trait by killing him again and again and, I don't know, sort of farming the humans, that feels like something the Skaven would generally do. I just don't want to waste too much time on it. Either way, we could essentially still send Lord Skrolk and the Mutant and the important armies away while we deal with it. Anyway, let's get started with whatever it is we have to do this turn. I think there's not much. We did the building. I do maybe want to try to manipulate... to manipulate the Pogsmakers a little bit more. Okay, so the Lazargs were ones we pieced out with, but we can now declare war on them because it's been 10 turns. I think the Blue Roses were very recent, like 5 turns ago or something like that. Oh, that was only 3 turns ago? Okay, now it's going to take a while. But what we can do is ask you to join the war against the Lazargs. Okay, not enough for a defensive alliance, but a little bit of cash and a little bit of friendly relations. And then we can counterbalance that with 2 things. The first thing will be to wait until this guy's ready for peace, and then also to try to peace out with Goldtooth, like so. And then redeclare war on him again afterwards. Goldtooth is strong enough that it might be worth... Oh, wow, he did not like that. Was that a mistake? Maybe. You know what, give him a small gift of money. Alright, how's that? A little bit better. We might be able to get him to like us more if we declare war directly on the western provinces, but we don't have diplomatic contact with them either yet. Alright, well, hopefully I didn't jump the gun. We don't want the same thing to happen as with these jerk faces. And I'm not giving you a gift unless it's 500 now. It's not worth it. If they declare war on us, we'll have to kill them and give all their stuff to Kairos, and hope Kairos does not do the same thing. Although I'm willing to bet that he won't like us fighting them if we immediately transfer like their capital to him. He'll probably be reasonably happy with us. Fate Weaver's Crevasse is right beside Demon's Gate, after all. I just want those. I just want their units. But anyway, we'll skip the rest of this and end the turn. And well, any turn, it's coming. The attack from Luther Harkin, I mean. So you gotta be prepared. Alright, population surplus. Looks like no non-aggression and military access breaking from the Poxmakers of Nurgle as yet. wonder if there's a tech in our tech tree that will give us more relationship with them as well. That would be real nice. Also, while the turn is ending, yes, we did make the engagement threshold, so this will be an hour-long-ish episode, though it is starting to drop, so, well, if you're into the hour-long episodes, don't forget to drop those likes and comments below, as the engagement threshold is currently... Oh, there's Wolfie. Is currently... If I can try to remember, 400 likes and I want to say 60 comments, something along those lines. Anyway, trait gain, constructor for Toxer, master mason for Ian Roxburgh. Everybody's getting the construction cost reductions, which is nice. Murder dissenters is up and we're up to 23 pox samples. Plus we got our first tier 5, which will award us another Skaven brew. That's our third. And there's that missile focus that we've been wanting. All right, so plague furnace for Brahm the Dominator. Where was it? The Fabricator and Scrot. Right. I'm thinking about maybe transferring the Poison Wind Mortars back out of Skrolk's army. I just don't like their effect. Or like the visible effect is what I don't like. Now, the concern about this is that you two have already got the hunted down trait. So what we need to do is try to get one of these guys over to you without dying, which means we have to, I guess, head to the Wellsprings of Eternity with Lord Skrolk, and with this guy as well, and hope he doesn't get intercepted. It will probably mean essentially sticking around here for a little while, but what can you do? Oh! Unless these guys sally out. Wait, is this guy able to move in as a reinforcement? We could also try to stick around and maybe hope that Wolfhard runs away. Try to give it to Toxer. Yeah, this got a lot more complicated than I was hoping. Anyway, Besiege, he might sally. Well, you know what, let's find out. Let's move into the stance, the stalking stance, and we'll break the siege if the defeat is... No, close victory. Okay, so he won't sally out at that rate. Meaning, we're going to besiege him so that he can't recruit anymore. While Mr. Vermich... actually. Maybe we can let him recruit more. Because we can't raid this territory. It's gonna cost us a lot of money. You know what? Break the siege is fine. Oh, you know what I should have done? Siege again. Now, there's a reason. There's a method to my madness. Siege again so that he can't intercept, because, well, besieged, obviously he can't. Skrolk, you're going to head down here. Like so. And there's nobody to intercept by the looks of it, so Metastone, you can come down here as well. We'll try to get you that trait. And maybe Nivaventur as well. Both of you come down here. Alright, now that he cannot intercept, we will break the siege. Oh, I almost clicked auto-resolve. That would have been really unfortunate. Break the siege. And then begin raiding. Just to save up on the tons and tons of cash. You go here. Wait. We need Toxer over here as well, and this is as far as he can move, so y'all might as well raid sort of in proximity to each other. If Wolfheart moves away from the pillars, that's fine. We'll chase him down with whatever armies need his defeat trait. But we gotta get him on cooldown again so we can get his defeat trait at least one more time. I see Luther Harkin is still hanging around here. We've got another Plague Priest for Ian Roxburgh, and we got a Warlock Engineer, not for Ian Roxburgh, but he can sort of sit in his army for a little while. Then... Kugath Finder. I believe this is the last leg of your journey. There you go, you found Throt. And Throt is, well, not ready for Confederation. Also not ready for a non-aggression pact. We can simply declare war on either the Ice Court or... Oh, this will give us a trade agreement. Wait. Do we have other trade agreements available to us? We do not. Alright, so we should start trading with Mulder. Join war against Ice Court. What about these guys? Trade agreement? Just do it for both. It's not like they're going to sail to us or do anything. And this will keep us friendly with Throt. Like so. And we could potentially peace out with those guys for money later on. Though Throt won't be appreciative of it, but you know, that's life. Oh, Clan Carrion can trade? I didn't even know they could trade. I thought they were like the sentinels that are around the Black Pyramid of Nagash and were not capable of actually doing anything. Anyway, Kugath Finder. I don't believe you need to be up here. Well, you know what? We could move you up north to Epidemias. It's another potential Nurglite faction that we could be friends with. So yeah, start moving this way and sail out to sea and then go find Epidemius. Why not? And we are now going to go for Revel in Filth. We really wanted that campaign movement range, and we are certainly getting it now. Lovely. All right, so Skrolk has moved. Ian is stuck, but may recruit depending on... Wait, no. Next turn. He'll recruit next turn once we have the recruitment capabilities. Pustin, I would like you to go here. Not gonna cost much, yeah, just go here. And Ian can sit around here, or wait. Ian, go out of the settlement, and then go into Channeling Stance. Get some of your mana back, at least for a turn, and Pustin into the settlement. There we go, since we're recruiting next turn. It looks like we're good here. We're going to then do the building, including Oishul. How expensive is this gonna be? Oh. We may want to get Skrolky back here for a brief time, as we will have now access to Anointed Plague Monks. Oh, I'm excited to try these out. I've never seen them before. These are much tankier Plague Monks, essentially. Defender. Their stats are still weak, in the sense that they still have no armor and no melee defense, but because of the various... essentially, as they lose HP, they get stronger and stronger. Which is kind of a neat idea. Anyway, we're definitely going to want the Taskmaster's platform here. And I guess, we could build the clan armory here at Oishul. I guess the thing is, or the main issue with this, is this particular territory is probably our biggest money-making territory. It probably won't stay as the biggest one, but we could probably just make more money here. This is at 60, and then this is at 30. What's the biggest moneymaker that we have available to us? 30, 30, 30. I mean, it's twice as much for a food structure. At a loss of control, mind you, but it doesn't matter here because we have a massive control bonus anyway. And, oh, yeah, our control is... well, actually, our food, rather. Our food is in reasonably decent shape. Anyway, Warpstone Reactor and Temple of the Horned Rat. Yeah, definitely build those. And we will also want to build the Exotic Animal Tamer. We will also want to build the... Well, that's a question. And we could go for the Construction Cavern all the way through to Warp Turbine Plant, which will give us additional Warlock Engineers and research capacity. Technically, we do want clan war councils everywhere in every single province. Though I do wonder... The upkeep production is faction-wide for clan rats, which is great, but it's not as good for clan pestilence as it is for everybody else, because we'll generally want to be using plague monks instead of clan rats as our basic cheap unit to hold the line. With more casualties, mind you, but also with massive amounts of buffs, so yeah. The growth plus 10 for all provinces is fantastic, but our growth is already great. The only thing that makes me question it is the campaign movement range for all armies faction-wide. And it is not in own territories, it's just all armies. Oh man, stacking that is really, really valuable. But it's also really hard to get Warlock Engineers, and we need additional capacity of them. They need to be in a lot of armies, and they also need to be stealing tech. Is this worth more than the tech stealing the army buffing? I'm gonna say it's probably not, at least not in a single territory. We could also later get rid of the arsenal in this particular territory and replace that with that other thing, so I think that'll still, that'll still deal with it for us. And we don't need the Storm Vermin as yet. I would like a couple more chieftains, but this doesn't give us sufficient capacity for them anyway, and we're going to be using a few other provinces to give us capacity for those guys. Namely, provinces with 2 settlements that will never generate a lot of cash. We'll need the breeding pits replaced anyway, so yeah. That's where we'll get the Storm Vermin capacity. Storage caves for you, and I do believe we're good. I'm not good enough to switch the expansions planning out, though. Anyway, Kulkin Plains, you are rapidly heading towards Tier 5 as well. Oh, I love Skaven growth. It's fantastic. Even faster than Kislev, and that with putting every single possible thing into growth. You're still an expansionist planning River Curveza. Stay on expansionist planning for the additional growth. Kayaks is fine. Keep generating food. Citadel of Dusk. You've got your Warp Lightning Capacitors, you've got your Bell Foundry, you've got your... we should in theory build Plague Abbeys everywhere for Public Order and for the various capacities for Plague Monks. Although it's not a lot of public order. And in theory, we want the construction caverns here as well. But we also have the food. Well, you know what? Here, food might not be the way to go. Alright, fine. Another construction cavern and another pestilent nave slash pox cauldron. That's a lot of money we're running out of rapidly, but what can you do? Copper Desert, you don't have the money to upgrade yourself to next tier anymore. That's a shame, but at least upgrade the giant fungi caverns for now. Can we maybe start collecting income here? We can if we switch you out of expansionist planning. I mean, I guess technically we can right now. We could also just build like a Skaven slave army there at the cost of food and use it for its military presence. Certainly potential. Anyway, Turtle Isles, we will want to start collecting money with you similarly, but right now not yet. We have no money for the Taskmaster's platform. And similarly, we have no money for the Taskmaster's platform. You know... what was the really expensive buildings we built? I mean, we are building some really expensive ones here. We'll deal with it. Well, we'll deal with it next turn, I think. I'd rather get the money. Maybe we can get a little bit more cash via Diplo in some manner. Lamian Sisterhood we don't care about. Cult of Pleasure we want to trade with, but I believe the Daughters of the Forest are too weak of a faction. Yeah, minus 1.6. Not yet. Maybe if they declare war on somebody else. Hey, Rictus wants to be more friendly. We don't want a defensive alliance with them, I don't think. At least not yet. Frankly, we want them to get really weak so that we can confederate them. Too bad we won't get access to Rictus Storm Vermin, but that's sort of the point. So that we can have different playstyles for various factions. Otherwise, there would never be a point to returning to Skaven again, but because Clan Moors get their unique Clan Rat spam, and, well, everybody gets their unique stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what else we got to do this turn. I don't believe there's anything. So, buildings, Undercity, and the turn. Oh, wait, we got a little bit of money from that. I wanted to do something. We need public order here pretty badly, so I think we'll prioritize that over the upgrade in the other settlement. And you don't actually need the upgrade nearly as much. Right? I was hoping that we could cancel the mushroom tunnels and still be able to upgrade one of these, but alas, all good. All good. We'll upgrade you as much as we can, then we'll end the turn, see how much money we can rack up from doing all this. End the turn. And let's see where, if anywhere, Mr. Wolfhard goes. Also, look at all these armies together. Ain't it beautiful? And that's why the Skaven AI generally does well. It can just spam out piles of... Ooh, yes, Marcus. Good job moving there. That's where we wanted you. The Skaven AI can just spam piles of garbage armies, which it can then use to take settlements that the enemy has that are poorly defended. Goldtooth and Lazar's confederated, so no piecing out with them. Exiles of Nehek destroyed. May not necessarily be such a good thing for us. The simple reason being that we were getting additional relationship with the Cult of Pleasure out of it, in addition to the fact that that was keeping them and not fighting with the lizards. And we want the lizards to, well, we want all their stuff for ourselves. There's that campaign movement range increase. We got 16 pox samples and the schemes back up and running. Razor Sack Spectazuma on it. Alrighty, so we'll start with popping the dominating scheme for that recruitment cost reduction, because we're certainly gonna need it. Another pestilence scheme. Nah, we gotta recruit right now. We gotta recruit. We're about to get into a massive fight with the undead, so... Yeah, and the Skaven... the Skaven know a little thing or two about getting into massive fights with undead, after all. We're gonna go for the Horned Rat Shitters next. Speed plus 25% for all characters faction-wide. Doom Wheels even faster. And Plague Monks and Plague Claw Catapults also faster. And then we'll either go for... Well, most likely we'll go for the Final Blessing. But we're getting through those plague techs, which is lovely to see. Anyway, Marcus has moved into the Wellsprings of Eternity, which has a tier 2 garrison. Might actually be worth fighting. Could be fun. And now here's the question. Well, I guess if we get the defeat trait on Metastone, we could actually delete Metastone after. However... Nivaventer needs the trait more in the sense that he'd probably get more mileage out. Well, no, actually Metastone probably would get more mileage out of it. Because Nivaventer's going to be our artillery lord. So I think we're okay. In short, we're going to move you up. Oh, you know what? Just move into regular stance. Like so, and Skrolky like so. And then hopefully we can destroy all this and then essentially catch Marcus out again here somewhere. Hopefully these guys don't screw us over. Alright, we need to make some money. Let's try it. Pillars of the Unseen Constellation. A mutant, I would like you to sack it. Not a lot of money. You can sack it for exactly the same amount. Alright, fine. Mutant, go in. In regular stance, please. And then we'll get these guys to reinforce in a second. What are the defenses like here? Yeah, not worth fighting when it's without a lord. Only if there's a lord there. You two can reinforce. Technically, Toxer is trying to get to Nivaventer, but, well, I'll resolve this. Also, I'm excited to see Mutant's army in a proper fight now. He has the most sort of diverse army that we have. Just lots and lots and lots of different types of units, which is always fun to play around with. Let's sack this and stop you... click the wrong guy. Stop you moving. We'll need to get to the Blood Hall next, and... Hey, another Warpstone armor. Fantastic. It's got that mini Mortis engine effect. Alright, then we will want to put... it doesn't really matter. We'll put Vermich here. And loot and occupy the place. Don't collect the income. Mutant, you're going to raid our own territory because your army is very costly. It's in fact... Is it more expensive than Skrolk's army is? Yeah, it is quite a bit more expensive, but that's not surprising. And then you can sort of march stance to try to close the distance with these guys as fast as possible. There we go. And decent bit of cash. Vermich, just stay on the Pillars of the Unseen Constellations. We'll also get rid of this, and we're not collecting the income anyway. Wallatal might rebel, so we might have to send Vermich back there, but we'll deal with it as we run into it. Anyway, Metastone, you're gonna lead Skrolk and everybody into this fight. Pyrrhic victory despite the presence of Skrolk, eh? Oh wow, they do have a lot of mortars, but at 360 range, they're not gonna outrange the Plague Claw catapults, so too bad, so sad for them. Go. Alright, sorry Marcus Wolfhart, but your defeat rate is just too good, and our little Eshin army is certainly going to want to have it. Oh, look at him practicing. He's got things to do while we wait for our Skrolk's main stag to make it onto the field. And yeah, we'll get the Eshin runners, the gutter runners on field as soon as we can, get them an army. Maybe we try to do sort of a lower cost, cheaper army with mixing in around Night Runners and Gutter Runners, which would allow us to get it on the field a little bit earlier than waiting for being able to afford the full thing of Gutter Runners, as they're costing us, what, like 200 gold per turn. It's a little much, especially, that would be our most expensive army right now. I gotta double check how much the Master Assassins, assuming that the Master Assassins reduce their costs, how much they do. But anyway, here we go, the rest of our army is going to be in there in a minute. A little bit of time. But on the bright side, we can annoy the enemy a little bit by spawning the clan rats on top of their mortars, and at the very least getting the mortars out while the festering pool vortex destroys those poor halberdiers who are just standing in it and periodically explode. Oh, that's actually horrifying. Oh my god. I never noticed this because there's no like real vortex effect, right? Like you don't see a big like a ball like a Purple Son of Zeraeus or a flame storm around. Guys are just walking around and all of a sudden spontaneously exploding into bits. That's kind of interesting, and also I feel appropriate for the Skaven. But anyway, there we go. Those guys are out, but we got more clan rats where that came from. A second enemy mortar to touch down upon and send the crews scurrying away. Alas, we don't have a second use of that vortex available right now because of the relatively long cooldown, but at least the rats can... Hey, don't kick the rat in the face. That is so rude. Now we have to destroy the Empire just for that. Anyway, there's handgunners here. If we had another menace below, we could have maybe summoned the second unit of clan rats on top of the handgunners and killed those off too. But it's not like it's going to matter over much because Skrolk has arrived. We're here just to get the defeat trait on to Metastone, but Skrolk should still be able to have some fun moving through the enemy settlement. Anyway, our artillery going to have to make their way forward first together with that poison wind mortar and do a little bit of damage before we move everybody in. And the first volleys are away. They're going to be a little bit short, but aren't they always? Not to worry. Out of the night sky come a warpstone comets. Beautiful. A beautiful sight, not so much for the poor crossbows and beneath them. They are also covered in the poison winds from the mortar as well. And we can see some of them periodically drop even without the projectiles hitting them because of the double effects on them of the plague and the poison winds. I'd love to see how much damage over time they take without... I want to see a tick of damage. Okay, I think that was a projectile actually hitting them. Wait. Okay, there we go. What's the next damage tick? 60 to 16, so 52, 56 damage? 56 damage per tick isn't too bad. All things considered, especially if it's hitting lots and lots of intel. Oh, look at all those projectiles coming down from the sky. This poor halberdier unit. I don't know why. Oh, wow, that guy went flying. I don't know why they moved in to defend, but it ain't gonna go so well for them, I expect. And some decent accuracy on at least a couple of those shots. Very nice. And the artillery will keep firing while our plague monks wait for the enemy army to be softened up. However, that doesn't mean we can't move in a few summoned clan rats and, of course, Lord Skrolk and his plague priests as well. We'll start with the Vermintide summons, moving forward to try to distract the enemy. And if the enemy should choose to turn and fight, that's when we send the artillery to obliterate them. And Skrolk and Co. can bring up the rear and get summoning with more units as soon as they can. Oh, and it looks like a unit of swordsmen will be giving a fight to one of these units of clan rats here. Alright, not much to say about this, and there we go. Just waiting for the artillery barrage to come down. Kills half our clan rats, but kills just as many of the foe, and that's exactly what we want. The clan rats will be shaken by it. The swordsmen are still eager, but they have lost, well, let's say, 80% of their HP, and another volley should probably reduce them to... maybe not quite atoms, but they're just about done. And here comes Skrolk and our two plague furnaces now. Gotta have more plague furnaces. We don't have a single screaming bell on the field, but we will be able to get a screaming bell on the Viventer. Don't want to go too heavy on the Grey Seer, so we will do at least one Grey Seer of Plague, because the current Grey Seer is a Grey Seer of Ruin. But basically, we want at least one of every lord, and then we can think about duplicating lords for various different army compositions that we haven't tried. Anyway, a couple more shots from the artillery. Let's just speed this up a little bit until we enter combat or enter the fray once more. The artillery are moving forward so that they can appropriately barrage the enemy, but we also don't want to take too many hits from the enemy range onto our plague priests, especially as those plague furnaces do tend to get targeted. They might be a little bit tankier than the support creatures of the... yeah. So Slice and the Pox Preacher, if we take a look, has 45 physical resistance and 55 missile resistance. And non-magical missile damage to him is minimized, as in he takes minimal damage as long as there is no resistance reduction sort of deal. So those guys are pretty good. As I was saying, the Chaos support creatures, the War Shrines, do have a tendency to get obliterated by the enemy AI, as they always love to target them, but these guys seem to have so much missile resistance, and we are purposely attempting to stack as much more as we can so that they aren't quite as focused. Especially since these things are pretty useful, they provide support, and they have that nice little Mortis Engine effect, plus as they charge forward, they have that bound Pestilent Breath ability. Anyway, We were moving the artillery forward a little bit more. Let's speed it up a little bit more rather than me just ranting at nothing. Couple more shots, and there we go. In we go to the enemy settlement. Now that our assassin is here, going to be chucking the occasional shuriken around. It's got 3 kills, and 3 kills but only 100 damage. How'd you manage that? Did he somehow kill... Oh, the assassins also have Weeping Blade. That's interesting. Anyway, looks like the enemy sends flagellants forward, but even the flagellants will flee before the plague furnaces. And here I thought they weren't supposed to be afraid of death. But maybe being implaginated is not quite the death that they were looking for. Alrighty, and here we charge forward with all of the plague furnaces. I think it's generally better to sort of separate them so that they can apply their mortis engine effects to different parts of the battlefield, but frankly, we just moved straight up the center of the enemy line. Marcus is already pretty badly beat up. He gets hit with the Liber Bubonicus, which does plenty of damage, and Skrolk will continue attempting to move towards him. We have mortar fire dropping upon us and our summoned clan rats and plague monks. And we're just continuing to add units here, and now that we have enough mana again to be using Pestilent Birth in addition to Vermintide, we have all the Plague Monks we could want to send at the enemy before needing to use our Censor Bearers and stuff, though we'll periodically use those guys as well. But at least this way we don't have to worry. Essentially for battles where we, aren't really concerned about the enemy winning or anything like that, and we're mostly concerned about potential casualties. For a tough fight, obviously, we'd need to use the entire army. But for this, it's not really needed. We can just use the Plague Priest and the, not infinite summons, but the crazy amount of summons that they can output. Anyway, Marcus is down to 30% HP. We're fighting the other units down here. I believe Felix is down here somewhere as well. But he's pretty badly damaged from contact with Lord Skrolk, who's still in the middle of the fray, and charging essentially in the wake of those plague furnaces, which open up a nice gap in the lines, using their mass to push through. Ooh, nice shot from Marcus into one of the furnaces, but that's alright. It looks like he wants to back off rather than get chased down or run down by them, but Skrolk will continue heading towards them. The rest of them charge forward once again, and the enemy troops continue to melt before the furnaces, and frankly, the mortar fire isn't really doing them any favors, as it's simply dropping upon them. Skrolk will find Marcus again. Let's see if we can get him to actually fight rather than run immediately. Alright, bonk him with that flail. There you go, buddy. And a couple more hits. Plague of Nurglish probably not going to do too much, but oh, there we go. He will melt away due to the various effects. No, he's going to get back up, but probably not for long, as a random clan rat stabs him in the back. Oh, that seems so appropriate for a battlefield, however. It's not always, it's not always going to be just like a heroic contest between two legends. Sometimes a random clan rat is gonna stab you in the back, and that's how a legendary character is gonna die. That's just what happens. Alright, anyway, with that, with Marcus's fall, I do believe the battle is ours. Only the small circle of flagellants that are still fighting to their deaths remain. The Doom cultists attempting to lay into these summoned clan rats, not realizing perhaps that all of these are disposable troops and that their deaths matter not. But they believe that the end of the world is coming, and, well, the end of the world is, well, if we look at the end times, very much carried by the Skaven, so perhaps they're right about some things. Alrighty, and I thought the battle was over, but it looks like the enemy had a couple more units that were willing to fight. I'd be willing to wager that, there we go, the handgunners aren't going to stand up to the Plague Priest for long. I think we just had to get into proximity, as in close enough to them, in order for them to shatter. Lovely. Alrighty, very, very nice. I am loving how much stronger Skrolk has gotten as a unit over the course of the last few episodes. Definitely has gone from mostly just a debuffer in the center and caster to able to to relatively easily kill off single entities and annoy enemies in general. I don't know how Metastone got 722 kills, but I'm pretty sure he didn't. His damage is only 340, and it's just counting the units that ran away. I also want to point out that the Plague Claw Catapult, especially this one, the Ratapults, with 37k, vastly outdamaged the Poison Wind Mortars there, so perhaps they're not in fact necessary in this army, and we can avoid their effect. I'll think about it. Decent bit of a reward out of that one. Potion of Toughness as well. We will also sack the place for additional cash. And we'll move you away. There we go. Defeated Marcus Wolfheart for Metastone, which is what we wanted. Metastone, now that you have this, we don't need you, so we are going to disband you for now. And we probably won't need you within 5 turns either. I mean, we could reset your skill point and whatever. Disband you for now and we'll get you back. Just so that he's not costing us money and such. Ooh, Morskatar's Hellion is available. Ikid Zap is available. Probably want to use that on Ikid himself, but we won't have him for a bit. Anyway, obviously we will bring Metastone back to command our first Eshin army. I might do a vote on whether we do a Moors or an Eshin army first, because we'll not be able to afford both for a while. Anyway, Niviventer, I believe, yes, Skrolk can raid his own territory, which means we can pop Niviventer into the Will Springs of Eternity instead and loot and occupy it, and we're already not collecting income. Ooh, it's got a pasture. That's great. That's really great. There's no more pastures around here, is there? I don't think so. Certainly not in the territory of the undead, but we'll deal with it. Anyway, a nice bit of cash for that one. And there's probably not a lot of other moving we can do. Kugath Finder, go to Epidemius. Huston still sticking around. Yes, the question now is whether we start recruiting with Ian. We do have the dominating scheme up and running, which is what it was for. Wait, why am I saying recruit with Ian when we could recruit? Well, wait, do you have a recruitment cost reduction? I don't think you do. Meaning we could just use Puston to recruit instead, and that would allow Ian to channel as he will lead the fight against whoever anyway. Let's get... Ooh, yes, loving how cheap those Poison Wind Globadiers now are. Alright. Delete some Skaven slaves. We'll get them back as needed if needed. Anointed Plague Monks, yes, they approach. Now, the Poison Wind Mortars are very expensive, generally speaking, but, well, we're still going to make a Poison Wind army. Let's do 2, like this. There goes all our cash. We're gonna go negative again, aren't we? Why do I keep doing this? Probably need more Poison Winds as well. I was gonna say build a couple more Plague Claws, but we'll still have time to build them. Do this. And we do have more Warp Fire Throwers available as well. What else do we have here that we want to build right now? These things are at least cheaper to build, at least. Go for another Death Globe for now. I want an army almost completely focused on those guys. We'll need a Warlock Master with specific a specific trait. I think we had one earlier, but it's gone now, which is a shame. But we'll get it back at some point. We'll also need to make a second Master Assassin, one for Death Runners rather than the sort of kiting army that's going to be the Shuriken Mayhem one. That'll be, well, Death Runner folks. Although I suppose we could use Deathmaster Snitch for that, assuming that Eshin will be willing to join us, depending on how well they're doing out there. We will... I mean, I guess we could probably have enough units to hit the marks of the old ones within the next 2 turns and knock out Luther Harkin before he attacks us, as once again, it is inevitable. Just to do... Oh, he's not at war with anybody right now. And he's not even willing to fight the Hunts Marshal's expedition? Alright, fine. What about the Knights of Calador? Funnily enough, they are willing almost to do that. Just curious. Curious if we could stave this off for... Well, it's fine. We're fine. Nobody panic. I believe we now got buildings to build, though we don't have a lot of money to build them with, so I'm gonna have to be careful about it. You're fine in expansionist planning. Let us definitely go for the exotic animal pen. Overseer's Lookout will generate decent amounts of cash, but it is quite expensive right now, so it's not a priority. Do the mushroom tunnels. Do the cheap stuff first. You're fine. You're gonna stay in efficient planning. I'm almost tempted to switch you from expansionist planning back to martial planning. Yeah, it'll mean that these buildings take longer to build, but that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Let's go martial planning, campaign movement range and income from buildings we needed. Cole complains, I'd love to do the same, but you will need your public order because it's garbage until those breeding pits are gone. River Curveza, you're probably fine in expansionist plan. No, you're not, actually. You don't need to do it. And we could pop you into martial planning as well, but that's a lot of food loss. We are at 99%, but our buildings aren't actually generating all that much. If we buff it up by a -20, we're going to start losing food, especially without battles in the next turn or so. Let's not risk it. I guess stay in expansion is to keep growing. The Night Forest Road, keep generating food for us. Kayaks / oh right, Citadel of Dusk. Ugh. I wish the Ward Forge wasn't so expensive. I mean, we could build up the Pestilent Nave for now, and build the Warp Forge later at a later date. And let's put you back into food generation. I like so. Copper Desert, you will need those upgrades, and as to which one of you will need the upgrades first, I'm gonna go with the Golden Colossus this time, rather than the Duskgate, and you can stay in, well, actually no, you can switch to efficient planning. Spinus Sotek, you're fine for now, keep generating food for us. You're also generating food for us, but we can upgrade the giant fungi caverns here for additional food. Yes. Alright, Turtle Isles, we are once again out of money, and oh, for the love of... we actually do want to upgrade you for that commandment, but alas, I don't think we have the money for now. We also have to watch out for these places rebelling. Let's get the public order stuff built here at Wallatal. I think next turn we might send Vermich back to it, just to defend against the rebellion, or just to sit in it. Because Wellsprings of Eternity belongs to the Bloodhall province, which we'll still need to knock out.
Master Engineer.
We'll see. Alright, also Toxer. What do you have again? Oh, you have Ominous Rumbling, so you don't need Marxist trait nearly as much as others. I mean, granted, you'll still have some artillery, but it's not as critical as a few other lords. Yeah, alright, either way. Diplomacy check and then on to the next turn. You are looking good. Clan Ferric is looking to do that military access. I didn't do it because it would piss off the Chaos Dwarfs more and we might potentially ally with them. I doubt it, at least these Chaos Dwarfs, but there is potential. And I think nothing else. And nobody wants peace. How rude. Peace out with us. Give us money. Give us your money for us to not kill you, even though we're not trying to threaten you right now. Alright, Lord Non-Movement, Sun skill points, building upgrades available in the turn. Let's proceed to Spectazuma. And then loop southward again. Will the Awakened declare war on us? I really wish I had kept track of how many turns it had been until... Ooh. Oh, faction encountered. Okay, I thought it said faction destroyed. Encountered is better. How many turns since they canceled their deal? Since obviously they are preparing to attack us. Alright, the rest of that looks good. What do we have here? Free Blade of Corruption at the cost of 4 loyalty. It's a decent weapon, but 3,000 money right now I think is probably the better way to go. We've got plenty of weapons that give us poison, and most lords and heroes don't actually need it because they have other effects, and we have easy access to various other poisons. Punish in a less subtle way. Word has reached your ears that one you thought less treacherous than other lords has stolen from you. An item of great power has come into his possession, and instead of offering it in tribute, he has kept it for himself. Oh dear. You care not for such trinket items, but still the disrespect must be addressed. Have his tribute increased. And what do we have here? Connivers. Ah, we immediately lose money. Well, 5 loyalty might be a little bit much for Ian's army, so I think we'll reward the Craven. A pathetic, mewling Craven of a minion lord has come to you with news that others plot scheme your downfall. This wretch has done well to bring this to your attention. Why would you expel the Craven? He is, yeah. It is good to have informers in your own ranks. Reward this coward sneak, but keep your eyes on him in case this is cover for his own connivances. Ah, indeed. You gotta love this Skaven. They're so fun. Grievous, and there we go. Tech researched, but we are now no longer in the money, and by money I mean pox samples. Hey, free potion of healing? Yes, please. Man, we're getting banners of clan superiority all over the place. We effectively can give one to every army. Next, we will want to go through strength and numbers, mostly to try to get towards Carve Under tunnels. Or we could ignore it and go for virulent plans into the Plague Monk upgrades. And we do like the physical resistance, but otherwise, the upgrades here aren't crazy necessary, and they're going to be vastly inferior to the upgrades we get via the pox samples. So, not super critical. Skrolk, you can push onward to Spectazuma, and at 2.4, what do we have, defense? Nah, defense is like garbage. Right, so you're gonna go here. I'll use you to sack it. That should give us a nice amount of cash.
Master engineer.
Alright, like so. We will... Really? Close victory? Okay, maybe not with the other armies nearby. We'll see. You can get this. Not that we really need fire damage on our units, but anyway. And the Venter, you're going to go out here. We'll probably... Does Skrolk need to channel? He does. So we're probably better off having the Venter occupy the settlement. Then, Toxer, I would like you to transfer the units to Nivaventer. I'm not entirely sure Nivaventer will be using the Death Globes, to be honest, but just for now, since he's commanding them, like so. And Toxer has now picked up Nivaventer's Plague. We should probably try to Implagonate Lord Skrolk. But the two can't... Oh, damn. I screwed that up. Skrolk's gonna have to occupy this, so he... Well, oh well. Auto-resolve, real quick. Decent bit of food. Sack the place. And stop moving. Oh, no, there was a delay. Alright, that completes the quest, gives us a Fencer's Blades and a Talisman of Preservation. Not for Toxer, but a nice find. Doomflayer for Toxer. As we did to Nuln, Razor's Sack, and that's 2,400 gold. And then, Skrolk, you're going to occupy Spectazuma. Like so, at tier 1. And, ooh, gems. What do they do for Skaven? Nothing. Just, well, it's still trade good that we will want. And I guess we can upgrade this immediately. And we can get the growth going here immediately. And then, Skrolk, I was about to say channel, but you actually will cost us a lot of money. Toxer, you are costing us food and money, and for now, you're not needed until we can get your army up and running, so we're gonna let you go. But you'll be back later. Alright, lovely. Well, Springs of Eternity is not looking to rebel, but we will build the Rattling Warren here. Although they'll probably get upset once we hit the Bloodhole Coven. Wallatal is at -6. This will in fact counteract it. So we don't technically need to move there, do we? Alright, well that means we can send Mutin over to the Bloodhall. Like so. And Vermich can follow. Also like so. And then we can take it and sail out. Might be able to sack it. -9 now, eh? At here, but here is still fine. And while we... Oh, I should have used the construction reduction while we were there. Not a big deal. Oh, wait, we weren't there. We were over there. Upgrade Tarantula, though it might fall in our war with the dead. Now, the Skrolk, you're fine. Ian. I got one more turn of recruiting here, and this is going to be just so costly. Definitely going to be minus like 2 or 3k, but it will be sufficient to probably take this guy on. He doesn't have a lot in the way of artillery. I was thinking we'd need Plague Claws, but the mortars should be able to handle it without the need of it. The animated hulks will be handleable by the poison winds as well, so that's fine. Kugath Finder. Find his little buddy Epidemius. See Soul Screamer. Epidemius isn't dead, is he? No, I see the corruption there, so we're good. Alrighty, and the rest of that looks good to me. So, we got buildings to build once again. The Lost Valley. We will definitely build the exotic animal market. Public order plus 30. Well, that's lovely. And it looks like we are currently generating enough food for another commandment to increase money generation, potentially, should we desire it. Also, wait, didn't the commandment... yeah, it would have opened up 2 more slots. We could take another 2 turns to build a couple of Plague Claw catapults for the fight. You know, we'll see. If they declare war on us, then we'll attack, but if they don't, why not? Build a couple of cheap Plague Claw catapults. We want to take advantage of the dominating scheme while we have it. So we want to build up everything. I might also build a few more Warp Fire Throwers and the rest of the Death Globes and Poison Winds for their own armies. Gotta get up there after all. And we gotta keep checking the Warlock Masters for the type that we want specifically, which is the Encased Warp Engines one. But anyway, we will see about this stuff, but I fear we won't have enough money for a lot of it. Hulken Plains, you're fine. River Curveza, you're fine. Night Forest Road. Keep generating the food, we need it. I was thinking maybe switch it to the money generation, but nah. Warp Forge, a little bit too expensive, a little bit too rich for our blood right now. You can switch to Expansionist Planning, as we will be upgrading stuff. Spinus Sota, keep generating food. Sacred Pools, keep generating food. Turtle Isles, at last ready for an upgrade, and we'll start with the Chamber of Visions, because we want that landmark. Though I do wonder how costly it'll be. We shall see. Alright, and you can stay in Expansionist Planning for the additional growth. You just got your meat styes, which is fantastic. I remember there was a province somewhere with 2 pastures in the province. I don't know where it is, but I want it. And the Creeping Jungle and the Ngwanji Valley are fine. Alright, looks good to me. Diplo check, end the turn. Man, I wonder how much Clan Ferric is willing to give us for this. Just out of curiosity. Only 1,000 gold, and not worth pissing the Chaos Dwarfs off more. I am interested in how much you... well, not crazy. I'm hoping that... wait. Minus 11, just out of curiosity. Yeah, this will allow us to go into Defensive Alliance, which is what we want. We just need to wait out the 7 turns, which will allow us to declare war on them both. Assuming that Kugat doesn't peace out with either one. I doubt he'll die. Well, even, look, if he starts losing territory in his main territories, we'll send an army up to deal with whoever. Also, how are you hating on us? Oh, you don't like us as, you don't hate us as much anymore. Go figure. Oh, we still have the military axis. As long as they don't break that, we're okay. Ooh, that's concerning. We were strength rank 1, we were now strength rank 2. Somebody got stronger than us. Oh, that's lovely. There's an empire somewhere, a very, very strong empire. I like to see that. Anyway, skip, and turn. Save the money for the recruitment and whatever it is else we're doing. And I'm really hoping that Marcus doesn't appear at the Blood Hall, because it's going to be annoying. Because then we'll have to sort of ferry Navaventer over there, and I don't want to do that. And these heroes are going to be annoying. I feel like they're going to assassinate one of our own heroes. But what are you going to do? If it happens, it happens. This is the name of the game. The Total War experience. What do we have here? Gambler's Armor for -5 loyalty? No, take the money. Lamian Sisterhood destroyed, and... oh, no new plague spreading. Come on now. It's not fair. Let's see. We're moving to Temple of Kara next. And, okay, we gotta double check for encased warp engines. Nope. And we're not going to waste money milling through them. We could also attack the Floating Pyramid and these guys, but while they're not at war with us, we may want to deal with you. And I see no Wolfheart here, so Mutant. Let's actually start with this. Let's have you sack this place. And obviously that's a waste of our time. I'd like to move towards the inevitable war with the undead, because I think it'll be a really fun one with lots of artillery engagements. And auto-resolve this. Barely any damage. One of the poison winds took damage, which is surprising. Warpstone token's kind of inferior to the whatever generator, the other one. Sack the place. Stop moving. And income from settlements +5. If we had a little bit more capacity, I mean, we're not there yet, but I think at the point that we start invading Cathay, we'll be able to start using food to get higher tier settlements. So the fact is, all the ones in Lustria will probably not need that treatment, because we're quite reliant on heavy food right now. And yeah, it's alright. Do we sit here with the Mutant? No, you know what? Mutant, go into raiding stance. And then we can put Vermich in here? Oh, wait. Raiding stance is an upkeep production of 10. How much is garrison stance? It's also 10, so it doesn't matter. Alright, fine, then just don't bother. Just go occupy. I'll loot and occupy. Yeah, okay, that'll still take us down to the next tier. It's not horrible, but I'd rather not waste the control bonuses since we're taking so much territory. Loot and occupy. Alright, and the place will most likely rebel in a single turn, but that's just fine by us. Pop yourself into Expansionist Planning. We got 3 more turns of the Dominating Scheme. You can raid, reduce the upkeep, though your upkeep is negligible, to be fair. And the U2 can wait. Skrolk. I guess we are indeed moving to the Temple of Kara with Neverwinter, and then Tlashlan will probably be the last territory. I imagine they're actually building an army, so Talantula might fall, but whatever. Go here. Oh. Does anybody know and or remember what the defeat trait is? Well, we'll probably send Skrolk up here anyway. I was wondering whether to send him to Luther Harkin, but... Yuan Bo's defeat trait and Hexoaddle's defeat trait. Oh, damn, they're at war with these guys now? That's not great. That's not great because we want their territory.
Enter and speak.
Are you willing to trade for a declaration of war on the daughters of... Yes, you are. Do that. Anybody else willing to trade right now? Just out of curiosity. No. And Tallyman. You are at war with the Great Orthodoxy and the Earthson Revivalists. Alright, we will declare war on the Earthson Revivalists. Non-aggression, it's not working. Okay, not yet anyway. Alright, that's fine. What we then need for you, now that you found Epidemius, is what, if anything? I don't think there's anything. I guess we could move you to find Tamarkan. Alright, fine, go find Tamarkan. Well, might as well. I mean, he's found all the Nurglite factions. Keep it up. What the heck? Kolek is here. Did he march all the way from the Challenge Stone, or did he march south through the Mountains of Morn and up the Uzkalak Canal? Wait, can the AIs use canals? Or the, Actually, I don't think they can. These sea lanes? Well, either way. Out of curiosity, yeah, we have to jump over this, don't we? Alright, you're gonna go right there. I see no stack. And you're gonna go right there as well. And, oh, damn. How many more turns do you have this? Damn, I screwed that up. I should have had them trade units too and plaguify each other. But oh well. Not a big deal, we'll just wait until the 3 turns are up and get a new Pestilens scheme up and running. What can you do? Mysterious Island? Yeah, I was hoping it would be a different island anyway. Ian, keep channeling. You'll be hopefully at full mana by the time Luther Harkin attacks us. Let's get the rest of the units on field then. Delete these. We want the rest of the Warp Fire Throwers. The 13th scheme is gonna be gone. It's gonna be ugly. Poison Winds. I want the rest of the Warp Fire Throwers. Don't really have enough... You know, get one more Plague Claw and that's it. We don't have room. I mean, we could obviously trade some units, but yeah, I want to prepare the Poison Wind army, especially since it will be led by the Avalanche Mortar. 4 Poison Wind Mortars plus the Avalanche Mortars and just a ton of various Globadiers of various kinds. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should go for one more Death Globe as well. Alright, fine. Cancel the... Well, funnily enough, these guys are pretty cheap. Ian, grab a... Who's the cheapest? I don't know who the cheapest is. Grab a Poison Wind. Like so. And then we will grab the other Death Globe. Like so. So that we have 4, 4, and then 4, yes, that's the way to do it. And a Warlock Engineer as well. And I also want to double check. Did I check it this turn? I think I did. Alright. I just gotta get the appropriate guy. Anyway, you Overseer's Lookout, and you're probably gonna be staying in Martial Planning forever, so I should really just stop checking. And don't bother with the Warp Forge, though. It's not crazy expensive, but, well, we got other stuff. Alright, you're fine, and your Public Order is gonna take a long time to rise, at least until we're rid of the Breeding Pits, but that's gonna happen in 9 turns when we're at Tier 5, so it's not so bad. You're fine. Night Forest Road is fine. Citadel of Dusk, I'm not paying for that. And the Golden Colossus, I am paying for that. So, let's get the Breeding Pit, the Overseer's Lookout, the Arcane Generators. Gotta keep spamming those, and then the Warren up and running, and then switch you briefly back to Exploitative Planning. For a turn. Alright, good. Wait, Exploitative Planning is the food generation one? Yes. Spinus Sotek, you are fine for a while. This place is going to rebel, but that's fine. We'll upgrade the Wellsprings of Eternity first because it has the Flesh Farm. Oh, wait. We'll upgrade it next turn once the Expansionist Planning is up and running. It's the better way to do it. Sacred Pools, you are not grown as yet. You're good. The Turtle Isles, you will need to switch to... Not need to switch because you're already in Expansionist Planning, and I think you can start collecting income as well because we're going to need it. Spectazuma and Monument of Itzatal, let's build up the nest layer here. Just gotta be careful about the place rebelling, but hopefully the public order will fix itself, and this place is, ooh, just balancing. Gotta get the public order fixed here as well. As soon as Stanchla upgrades, it should be fine. Alright, and we're okay now. Unassigned skill points, building upgrades, under cities, imminent rebellion, that's in the new place, and assuming that there's no diplomacy. Wait. It's still Clan Ferric. Mulder is nearly ready for something. How's that Confederation? Ooh, Mulder. You're down to one settlement. I don't think they'll die, as in I doubt that they'll lose help it. It's rare for it to happen, but let's be careful and keep an eye on them. Honestly, right now, there wouldn't really be anything that we could do about it, even if they did die, so... yeah. Anyway, end turn. Alright, Luther Harkin. You gonna attack us yet? Let's find out. You're running out of time, because we're getting a lot of new units built up. Although I suppose that as we recruit units, as we get stronger, Luther Harkin gets weaker in comparison to our faction, and thus is a little bit less likely to attack us per se. Alright, what do we have here? Plus to control all provinces at a cost of 3 loyalty? I think yes. Wait, Metastone can have this? Oh, that's interesting, because he's off the field now. Huh, I didn't know that those could happen while lords are off the field. Fascinating. Anyway, a warlord, thought to be loyal honest, sends whispers of discontent across your portion of the Under Empire. This reeks of a plot and must be stopped at once. Spread counter-rumors. Have your own networks spread rumors of this one's meek paunch and short tail. Highlight that he stinks, smells like an elf thing's water. Fantastic. Alrighty. Rebellion in Jungles of Green Mist. Settlement besieged the Blood Hall. That's us. And... oh. You will have prevented the mutant from... how dare you? Mutant kill. Pathetic. Auto-resolve. And take the money. Sell them off. Frankly, I'd rather eat them, but it's just because of the principle of the thing. And, ooh, an obsidian blade. Now, that's a question. We have, I believe Pustin is currently our frontline fighter, yes? Yeah, he's on frontline rat plus badly mutated. Currently, he's using the mechanical claw, which provides bonus versus large plus 20 and 75 attack, versus 100 attack and an additional 8% armor piercing. I imagine that the weapon, the mechanical claw, because of the bonus versus large being an attack bonus as well, will be better against obviously large targets. But if we want sheer numbers, we could get higher weapon strength with the obsidian blade. I'm gonna have to think about that one. Also, do we have any garbage items while we're here that we can combine? Not really. We have another Helm of Discord available, another Potion of Healing. Got some decent stuff, but we'll swap it around as needed. Ian currently has... oh, well, we're probably not going to give him the Talisman of Preservation, but if he has, or if we have a spare... we don't have a spare. Yeah, okay, no. I was looking for a better talisman, but alas, alright. Next turn, I believe we declare war, which is what I've been waiting for in this episode, so let's get to it. You can reach a Temple of Kara, and you can as well, I'm hoping. Yes, good. Alright, go here. And is Marcus back up at Tlashed Land? Well, I can't see it from here. Go here. And I guess sack it. Wait, actually, Spectazuma... well, it won't rebel immediately, so we should be still able to fix it. Auto-resolve. Nice amount of cash, and sack it, and then stop moving. Good. Income from all buildings, Artifact Hunter, Plague Furnace for Scrot, and now we have all 3 with Plague Furnaces. Lovely. Scroll key, in. Loon Occupy, and then out. Actually, no, I was about to say channel, but... you cost us like 600 extra gold per turn, so I think not. And then expansion is planning for you. And then you can go here, and I guess you can channel. Get a little bit of that cash. Lovely. And Tlashland will be the last place to go. Mutant, you will need to run to Tlashland. The question is which will be the fastest way to do it. We have no port that we can land here, unfortunately, meaning we have no choice but to jump. We should probably jump into the Pillars of the Unseen Constellation, then march stance to Wallatal, and then... yeah, it's going to be a fairly long path. Because I was going to send Mutant to capture these territories while Skrolk moves upward to fight the lizards and the... well, the dragon is kind of a lizard as well, so, you know. Anyway, you're going to go to the Pillars. You're going to stop raiding. And you're going to go to near the Pillars as well, beside the Mutant. And then we'll run wherever it is more expedient to go to afterwards. Now, Ian. Wait, was that this turn? No, it was next turn. Okay. I got excited for nothing. Double checking that with complete paranoia. And we got building to build. Alright, Lost Valley, once again. If we upgrade this Warp Forge twice, we'll never have to look at it again, but at the final tier, it's just ludicrously expensive, so we'll be able to afford it eventually, but that eventually is not now. You, Itza, will be going to tier 4 next. Beautiful, because that means the Emerald Pools. Fantastic. It's a great landmark for us. Kayaks is good. Citadel of Dusk still not paying for it. Copper Desert, rather, you can switch to Expansionists. You will build, 5.4k, but it's a solid, it's a solid landmark. It's oddly expensive. Overseer's Lookout for you, and I guess Great Turtle Isle will be the next upgrade. Alright, well, despite being red territories here, this is... Actually, you know what, I lied. Not Great Turtle Isle, but the Sentinels of Jati, because it's a green territory, it'll be built in 2 turns, whereas all of these will be built in 6. This will still probably be a very solid money-making province, despite the red territories. So I think we're okay there. Mine of the Bearded Skulls, you're still generating noms for us. Delicious, delicious noms. You are also a red territory, so the Blood Hall cannot be the main thing. We'll start with a nest layer here, follow next turn with the next nest layer there. Temple of Kara, we will repair your port, but we will wait until the expansionist planning is up and running. Sacred Pools, I assume you don't have the Public Order 10? No, you don't. Just keep generating money. And we'll be using you for capacity. Frankly, once it's upgraded to tier 4, we may delete the breeding pit and just get more various unit capacities. And then you're good as well. Oh, we really need that public order unscrewed, especially while the dominating scheme is up, which won't be for too much longer. Alright, the rest of this I believe is good. Unless we want to get a couple Plague Monks for Ian Roxborough to act as his main sort of units, rather than the Clan Rats. Although, you know what? Our money is going to be so horrendous over the next few turns that let's not. Let's end the turn. It's time to declare war on Luther Harkin. I forgot about Kugath Finder, but I think he's still moving a little bit. Yeah, he's good. I should really get into the habit of moving, moving heroes just as far as possible so that when I do forget, they still move themselves. And the Awakened will not declare war on us, but we are about to declare war on them. This will be the last big element, I should say, of the Lustria Bowl, the sort of last portion before we start spreading out all over the place and invading Cathay. Of course, I'm including the stuff north of us and the Isthmus of Lustria in that as well. Through the sewers, capture and occupy Tlashtlan. We will, but... Luther Harkin's the thing we want right now. Now, you are currently at war with nobody, meaning if we attack you, the followers of Nagash will declare war on us. The iffy aspect about this is that they can and will sail towards us if we let them, so... what are you gonna do? Gotta attack somebody. Somehow, someway, someday. You guys, get ready. Luther Harkin. Strength rank 4. He's got a lot more armies where that came from as well. I'm a little bit concerned about these territories, but I'm hopeful that we can deal with it. Also, wait. Do we have the new lord? Still ominous rumblings. Come on, man. Come on. While Luther Harkin is still a possibility. The Mutin, you're going to proceed down to Wallatal. And Vermich is going to follow. Doesn't really matter what stance. Looks like you can actually move further in this stance. Huh. Surprising that Mutant couldn't. Maybe the game was being buggy about it, though. Alright, you guys are moving in here. And... I'm just wondering whether we should take one more turn to close the distance with the enemy before attacking. Granted, they could attack us instead.
Watch your words. They will like.
But I think one more turn might make it so that we have a better time fighting them, so I think we should do it in that manner. You, Skrolky, what's the rating? Okay, let me just see here. Can we raid the enemy territory? No, we'll be just short of it. Alright, fine. Go into channeling then. Go into channeling right there. We could raid our own territory, but this territory is already kind of upset at us, so let's go here. And Leonard Pritzcock is up and running. Oh. Nivaventer, I forget, do you have the trait? You do not. Alright, so we'll get it for Nivaventer if the Warlock Master that we want doesn't come up. The encased warp whatevers. Yeah. Alright, Ian, stay still for one more turn and get ready to attack next turn. Pustin, you're good. Kugath Finder. Oh, I guess you're moving on your own, but, you know. Let's move. Yeah, let's do one more turn of building, one more turn of diplomacy, and then we strike. Sorry about the teasing, but, well, you know you like it. Anyway, the Lost Valley. Construction, warp forward is fine. The efficient planning is fine here. River Curveza, yes, Itza, definitely upgrade. And then switch to... I mean, I guess we could keep the growth up and running here again. Yeah, keep the growth up and running. Kayaks is fine. Golden Colossus, yes. More public order, more food, and more whatever this is. And stay in your current planning. Now, the capes, we are not paying for that. And you are in expansionist planning. Turtle Isles, you're good. Spinus Sotek, you are good. Wellsprings of Eternity, definitely the Flesh Farm. And definitely the public order. And definitely this upgrade for more public order. Good. The Creeping Jungle, though we are effectively out of money, we'll still need a Taskmaster's platform, and then we'll upgrade the Temple of Kara and the Gem Mine, and that will be all we can do, I believe. It's very much approaching a rebellion. That's a problem. We don't have anybody here. You know what? I think we're going to have no choice but to switch you to exploitative. No, to efficient planning. We do have one extra turn of provincial instability. Oh, actually, it's not one extra turn, it's 14 turns. I was hoping that was the conquest debuff. Okay, fine, switch to efficient planning. This will be up next turn. This costs us control, so we can't have it. And I guess that's... Oh, I can build the timber mill here, assuming that we can't build the Taskmaster's platform, which we cannot. So go for the timber mill. More trade available to us. All right, now we can strike. End the turn. Yes. Watch Luther declare war on us at this turn. I wouldn't even be mad. Because, well, that's the risk he runs sometimes, because he'll move to Chupayodel and we wouldn't be able to defend it. All right, will the risk pay off? Huh. He moved away. Well, that's curious. Well, we missed our opportunity to kill him here, but most likely he'll try to defend the altar of the Horned Rat, which is still... well, it's still fine. He also moved in March stance, which is curious. There's no way that he can take Itza, because it's walled and probably too well to defend it. Pestilence Scheme performed, and Pestilence Scheme performed, and Pestilence Scheme performed. There's plagues everywhere. Unhappy populace in the Blood Hall. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's still okay. Not so bad. It would have been worse if it had happened here in Spectazuma, but we're okay. And it looks like we were able to counteract the public order. I still see no Mr. You're able to reach quit tax, eh? Alright. It looks like this is when we move, then. Especially before these guys declare war on us. You're still holding all of your territory? Good. Hopefully they remain in deadlock. Oh. How many turns have passed? I want to take a look at Kugath for a second. You are currently still at war with these two. How many turns until we can declare war on you? What? Oh. I clicked on the wrong one. Gold Tooth, my bad. 3 turns, okay. Nearly there. Now, are you now at war with somebody? Is that why you moved? Yes, you are now at war with the Dread Fleet. But we don't have contact with the Dread Fleet, so we can't ask them to join in. Oh well, declare war. Of course, we could wait some more turns until these guys actually sail all the way up north to fight the Dread Fleet, but I think at this point you guys will just, I don't know, do horrible things to me. So we'll just attack. Followers of Nagash will join them. And we will begin our war. Alright, Ian, you are moving into the marks of the old ones. And let's see if, what's-his-face is up here. Luther Harkin, I mean. I don't see him. He moved somewhere. And decisive victory, but we need the actual proper stack. We're going to have Ian commanded for now, but it'll change. Scorched fur. Ugh. The guy got replaced with scorched fur rather than the one we wanted, but oh well. Swap units. Go, go, go. This is certainly not the army that we were going to give Ian, and that will be the same afterwards, but, oh, we don't have enough room for all of this stuff. Let's take out, I guess, a couple of the poison winds and one of the death globes. Or, wait. Let's do the warp fire throwers out. They're fantastic, but it'll keep this army feeling a little bit different, let's say. And you can, I guess, raid. Do we actually want to sack this? I don't know, but I do want to auto-resolve it. A little bit salty about Luther moving away, but anyway. I mean, it's a little bit of money. You know what, I'm just worried that we won't actually have enough movement range, so let's just do it and occupy this one. Well, I'll check the movement range better next time. Alright, and then Ian is good. Pustin, you're going to have to raid because of the enemy corruption, though. And we will collect the income. I can't believe there isn't a landmark at the Altar of the Horned Rat. Maybe there's a, there's one of those, what are they called? The new locations, the secret locations, fun locations? I don't remember. Anyway, Skrolk. Problem with Flashland is it doesn't have the guy we want. We could, I suppose, sack it and then sit outside it. Nobody is at war. Oh! Okay, no, they're not at war. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Skrolk, you are going to...
Absolutely not.
Do we maybe want to fight this one for fun? You know what, let's fight it for fun. We can use the Plague Monks instead of just winning with artillery. As we've been doing. And just for fun, because it's it should be in cinematic battle enabled. Because it doesn't have the garrison structure. So why not? Send the Plague Monks up the wall, see how well they can do up there. It's time for them to do their thing, because who knows if Luther Harkin will get back to us in time. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Horned Rat's blessing indeed will be gifted to Talashlan rather quickly, I'm sure. Here comes the rain of plague projectiles smashing into the first of the enemy towers, but we will not be simply using our artillery to win the day. Just for fun, we're gonna be sending in all the infantry. Well, maybe not quite all the infantry, but the plague sensor bearers at the very least in pretty decent numbers, and we're gonna have them climb the walls just for fun. It would be more efficient to probably breach the walls, but well, sometimes it's nice to have them fight up there as well. Just gonna knock out those towers as they are already starting to do damage to the plague monks, who have 20% physical resistance. Hopefully a couple more upgrades. Well, we know we can get at least 5 more physical resistance by a few upgrades. And at least with the sort of plague goo all over the walls, they'll be happy about this particular fighting location. Ooh, and the tower comes up, or comes down rather, just as the rats come up. Lovely. Still plenty of enemies up on top of the walls for these sensor bearers to fight. They've taken some damage getting to the walls, but soon they'll be able to lay into the enemy. And being unbreakable, we don't have to worry about them routing up on top of those walls. We have also summoned a few Vermintide rats to take additional damage, both from the enemy and from our own catapults, and we'll be sending them up on the walls just to annoy the enemy, generally speaking, as it does look like it's taking quite a bit of time to break through that gate. We don't really have anything that allows us to do it super quickly. Anyway, the sensor bearers moving on top of the walls now. There we go. Time to lay into those spears, pikes, halberds, swords, whatever the enemy has up here with those sensors. And our troop quality should be considerably higher than the enemies, though we do have to be wary of the fact that our units will be tired from climbing up here, so we shall see. Aura of Rot, so the Plague Monk sensor bearers have that little very mini Mortis Engine effect. It's not going to do too much because it only affects 4 entities, but it's still better than nothing, and the longer they fight, the more damage it will dish out. I am surprised that the halberds can survive a smack from one of those sensors. But we can solve the situation pretty easily with, you know, adding more sensors to the mix. Plus, we don't get to see these sort of wall fights too often, so it's nice to see these right now. Ooh, looks like some sensor bearers are going to be dropping here, but yeah, we got to remember that these guys are similarly glass cannons, or similar to the regular plague monks. I don't know if they actually have the glass cannon trait. Yeah, they do. And that's why we want the anointed plague monks in Skrolk's army as well, because they can act as the main line for these guys. Though, of course, these guys will also get stronger once they have the various buffs, including the final plague, the final contagion, the final blessing, was it perhaps? Something along those lines. Anyway, the wall fight continues, but now the enemy are slowly starting to get surrounded as more and more plague monks make it up on top of the wall, and that same picture is being repeated all over the wall as we're climbing everywhere we can reach. Essentially, the enemy will continue gunning and arrowing down, or crossbow bolting, I guess, down those plague monks. What's our missile resistance on these guys like, incidentally? It's 20%, it's okay. And then we could steal Weather the Storm as well from the Norskins. But anyway, in addition, we've got Plague Monks aplenty inside the settlement before the gateway is broken. How? As soon as we started climbing the walls, we started summoning additional Plague Monks inside the settlement via the Pestilent Birth spell. And that means the units down below the walls can take more hits and save at least some of the sensor bearers from too much damage. Our Plague Priests have made their way in while we continue fighting up on top of the walls, but it looks like we shouldn't be needing to do so much longer, as the enemy is starting to get overwhelmed here. Brave pikes and halberdiers holding on. Ooh, gotta be careful though. I do see some projectiles raining down both from the enemy mortars and from our own artillery. Definitely gonna be a danger if we don't control it properly. We've got to look into whether we can get more additional missile resistance for the Plague Monks, because they certainly need it. Especially considering things like Berserkers for the Norskins, I think, can stack missile resistance via various things up to like 50% or 60%, something pretty crazy. But we'll see. Honestly, not much to say about this battle in terms of tactics. I just wanted to see the little ratties fight. Hey, mortars, please, stop that. Stop that. You really gotta babysit those things, or they will just obliterate your own troops at the drop of a hat. Anyway, drop of a rat, I should say. The summoned plague monks and the plague engines, or the plague furnaces, rather. Ooh, plague engines. If we name a, if we get any Chaos Dwarf stuff, we can name it a Plague Engine. But anyway, have overrun the main enemy defenders. I believe Lord Skrolk has already killed the main enemy lord down here. And the basic troops do flee before us. I believe there's not much left of the enemy except the 4 mortars down here, and we're trying to book our way towards them fast as we can. As we can see, we've taken plenty of damage on lots of the sensor bearers, and this is why we generally would flood the enemy settlement with summoned rats before sending these guys in, but this is just for fun. Ideally, we'd first bombard the enemy until we basically ran out of ammunition, leaving just a little bit of ammunition, enough to support the assault. Then send wave after wave of disposable vermintide clan rats at the enemy to choke them with our dead, all the while these supporting artillery continue to rain chaos upon their forces, and then move the elite troops in afterwards. But there was no need here. We could simply take the walls by storm and keep summoning additional clan rats. Here come a few more summoned plague monks to obliterate the enemy crew, and I do imagine that the battle will be ours as soon as these guys shatter, which will be pretty shortly. We got another one of those. Is this the Vortex, or is this the Clan Stone? I believe this is actually the Vortex, which means these guys are absolutely screwed, and with them, the battle is ours. Just gotta get into proximity with this war wagon, it'll shatter. Ah, there they go, and I almost got to hit him, but there we go. Lovely. A lovely little fight, just because we could. Ah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I do wish that the rewards for taking settlements would be gifted after or at the same time as a potential occupying the settlements. That way, if you're maxed out, you could put the food immediately to use and in order to actually occupy the settlement at a higher tier, essentially. But anyway, fun of fight. Sometimes you just gotta take the walls by storm, knowing you'll suffer, well, 10 times more casualties than you normally do. Just for the, just for the enjoyment, which I do think enjoyable it was. Anyway, a decent bit of cash, and we'll take another decent little bit of cash as we will take the place. Skrolk, stop moving. Another man-thing slave, another banner of swiftness. Well, actually, wait, we don't want to take it. We want to raid it and stay near it. Hopefully, Marcus Wolfheart will revive. He should revive within the next turn or two. And we should still be able to get his defeat rate one more time. No, I kind of don't like how close all of our other armies are approaching, but nonetheless. Mutin, go to Quitex. Don't quit. Actually, well, taking this, wait. That shouldn't, in theory, cause this territory to rebel, in theory. But anyway, let's immediately build the Warren and the public order structure here. Well, we have the potential construction cost reduction. Mutant, you're going to go here, and Vermit, you're going to follow in a second, once Mutant has besieged it. Is this a... Okay, no, I thought it was an encampment, but got concerned. Encircle. And obviously we don't need to fight this, because there's no garrison effectively there. And we will move you right there along the road, and hopefully you still have enough movement to capture Quitax immediately after. And then I guess we'll move down to Chakwa and then have you essentially cut off any new armies. I do expect that there is a full stack sitting either here at Blood Swamps or here at Schlanwalpak. We saw that there was another full stack available to the Awakened before, and we don't know where it currently is, so there is that. Anyway, Mutant, I'll resolve this real quick, and then sack and occupy. Moving to Quitex and loot and occupy, there we go. Ooh, minus 27. Yeah, that's not great. Alright, we may, because if we're capturing Chakwa, we may have to get Vermich back into Wallatal next turn, but at least it won't be this turn, it'll be next turn. Good. You two still raid Talashtalan. And I suppose if Wolfheart comes back up, we should be able to get one of these guys up and running quick, although I'm tempted to sort of... I mean, once again, Nivaventor is going to be our artillery guy, so he'll still benefit from the trait. I just think that it would be better on the Death Globe trait, because a little bit of extra range would be very nice. And it would be very nice on the Fire Army, but, well, there is a limit to what you can do. Yeah, anyway. The rest of this looks good. Kuget Finder, keep moving, sir. I'd like to fight Luther Harkin at least one time this episode, if possible, although we're out of time already, but I'll give it one more turn. If we sight him, we'll fight him. That's my motto. Anyway, Oishul, you're fine. Southern Sentinels, you are fine. River Curveza, you are still fine. 6 more turns until you're tier 5. Good. You can upgrade this. We can, I guess, keep the expansionist planning up and running here. Yeah, fine. Night Forest Road, you are also fine as well, at least for now. Citadel of Dusk, still not paying for it. Turtle Isles, we are paying for this stuff, though. You will definitely get food, and Overseer's Lookout, and Breeding Pit. We'll upgrade the Great Turtle Isle next, and then the Golden Ziggurat, and then we can switch out of expansionist planning afterwards, most likely. Get that public order up and running, which will hopefully give us upkeep reduction as well, which we will need, as in 3 turns, minus 13% upkeep reduction will mean most likely we either go negative or at least very, very close to it. So we need to take as much territory as physically possible and get other territories essentially making money for us before that happens. Anyway, mine of the whatever was fine. You will need public order. And we will need to upgrade the Blood Hall. It'll also take a lot of turns, but what are you going to do? At least the public order here is relatively okay. Creeping Jungle. You're still just barely okay, but with 2 Taskmasters platforms, you should be able to be fine. Well, these guys will attack us in short order, I'm sure, as well, so we'll need to be wary of that as it's coming. Sacred Pools, you're fine. Keep generating food for us. We'll probably never bother collecting income from you, and that's just fine. Marks of the Old Ones, could upgrade you. There's nothing to upgrade in Guanji Valley. Alright, fine. Let's layer here, and we'll retake the Altar of the Horned Rat, which we were always going to retake, after all. An Aggression Pact. Ah, you won't do it for money. We're not going to declare war on the Order of the Lore Masters, I think. Although, I wonder how strong they are, because if they're not strong, it might be possible. I wonder. It looks like they've lost territory here, but that doesn't mean that Kairos... Well, actually, let's talk to Kairos as well. Where's Kairos? Zinj should be down here somewhere. Non-Aggression Pact 10. If we join your war against Ironbrow and Order of Lore Masters, we'd have to also join war against Talaqua, but Talaqua will absolutely sail towards us and annoy us. So I think not. I think we'll just do Order of Lore Masters with the Flaming Scribes. And just hope that they don't sail. And if they do, well, maybe we can peace out with them. Oh, looky, you're willing to nearly go back for that Defensive Alliance. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Well, let's do the Non-Aggression Pact with them for now. I'm so salty at this faction, but I'd rather not have to go back down here and fight them, so let's just try to be friends. Alrighty, and we may as well just check the other Diplo available to us. Ferric's still fine, or at the very least we don't want to deal with them. And the Awaken want peace now. Well, isn't that funny? You shouldn't have betrayed the, 3 agreements we had with you, Luther. I mean, you can't blame Luther too hard because he's insane, but anyway. Pestilens Scheme. I should have actually done this last, before attacking, but anyway. Let's set it up at Flashland, which we will be taking. And hope it spreads around. There we go. Killed in battle, and the next scheme will have to be the Scheme of Doom. And gotta get another one of those Warlock Engineer capacities. Also, speaking of capacities, okay, we don't have any of these Scab Scarred guys, so we're still good. I'd like another Chieftain, but we don't have any Moors buildings as of yet, or Warlord buildings as of yet, but that's gonna change. Unassigned skill points, skip and the turn. Let's see if we get attacked. Where is Luther Harkin? Is he coming back to defend the Altar of the Horned Rat? Is he fleeing or attacking the Dreadfleet? Is he too busy with it? He's gonna sue for peace? Nope. Ah, there he is. He's gonna go down to Chupayodel by the looks of it. And we should be able to reach it with Ian Roxborough, and there's no way that Luther will be able to stand up to a full stack. At least not with his current force. And what am I seeing here? Huh! Well, that was unexpected. Chuck was revived. Oh! Lana Scott, eh? Oh, you frickin' rebels. They probably... Well, actually, maybe they didn't. I was wondering whether they prevented the new guys from... Wait, we need to figure out how to deal with this. Okay, this just got complicated. Ready for duty, Toxer. That's great for Toxer. How do we look here? Scorched Fur, Ominous... Yes, Encased Warp Engines. Perfect. Okay, so... Okay, we gotta do this right. Encased Warp Engines here. Warlock Master. You can either lead a Fire Army or the Poison Wind Army. And we will use you. Damn. The money's gonna get bad. Nivaventer gets the Plague as well. Then, we need Skrolk to kill off this rebel force. Like so. Auto-resolve. And take the money. Then, we will need to sack Slashland again. Assuming nobody will die, but nobody should. Like so. And sack it again. Good. Then... Looks like this guy will be able to land at the Temple of Kara. Shouldn't be a horrible issue, and we did want to get Skrolk up here anyway. So, Skrolk, you're going to move this way. Nivaventer, you should also start moving towards Skrolk and the Temple of Kara, and then we'll have them both hit Yuan Bo and these guys, Hexoatl, Heshwatla at the same time. Another Warp Energy Condenser, good for Skrolk, Scepter of Stability. Then, This place is fixed. Its public quarters, at least. Mutin. Okay, wait. You could take Chakwa, but then this place might rebel. You know what? Just in case. Yeah, I hope this doesn't come. I hope this works. You are going to take Chakwa. In theory, this puts us in position to move down here should we need to do it. Also, Ian, oh, you are able to reach Luther Harkin. Oh, that's beautiful. What a beautiful day. What a lovely day. You're going right here, right beside. I don't think we'll need this reinforcing stack, but, well, why not? Wait, we just gotta make sure that Ian isn't blocked by you. So this is the path that you take. Sort of, sea travel is kind of buggy, where you... Yeah, I'm just gonna hope that that's in range. Because if it's not, it's, well, then Ian will have to fight with that. Alright, Pestilens is not in range. Okay. Go like this. Are you kidding me? Yeah, there's sort of a bug with the way the ships sort of travel. Like... Okay, wait. It looks like they're close enough, but they're not quite, which is odd. You sure you're not able to reach him? Oh. A shame. Looks like you can move just a tiny bit more, but I don't want to get in the way of Ian because then we won't be able to fight. What about that? Did that help? That did not help. Alright, well, whatever. We're going without. You. Oh, we're getting the fight in. Let's get to you... I'm gonna say triangulation. It's not much, but at the same time, this entire army is range. We're gonna have to be careful with that, because Luther Harkin will be a concern, so will the animated Hulks, and we won't have the pile of Skaven slaves to rely upon here. But nonetheless, Ian? Oh, wait, is this guy in range now? What the heck? I did all that for nothing? Game, how dare you? Alright, and yeah, well, he's in march stance, so this kind of screws him over, but nonetheless, let's do it. Oh, do we use any food for this? Eh, why not? 1, 2, 3. We'll get it back. In theory. Go.
Prepare to die.
Alrighty, let's see what this army can do. A couple of plague claws, tons of plague mortars or poison wind mortars, and of course tons of poison wind globadiers and death globe bombardiers as well. Should be a pretty fun time. Granted, this isn't what this army is supposed to look like, and we don't have a warlord, or we have a warlord rather than a warlock engineer or a master engineer leading them. Master Warlock? Warlock Master, there we go. Leading them, but that's alright. They will serve for now until we can get them the Blast Master upgrade under a Warlock Engineer with ideally, once again, encased warp engines as its trait to buff these guys up. They will probably take quite a bit more damage here than they normally would under a Lord that is going to buff them, but, well, it'll make the battle more interesting. Anyway, Luther Harkin will start moving its way towards us. We're going to begin the bombardment. The plague claws and the mortars alike will probably be able to deal with the enemy piles of the gunners relatively quick, though it does look like the handgunners at least will want to focus down that plague priest. Poor Vermich, and getting hit first by the handguns and then by a spirit leech, and we're going to just back him away lest he take too much damage. The enemy continues making its way towards us, and we do have to watch out at least for a few of the units, namely the animated hulks, that could run into the line and probably kill off the poison winds relatively quickly. Though we only do have one plague priest available to us here, it is enough to get the occasional Vermintide out. And a Vermintide unit will block a few of the enemies, enough to get hit by that poison wind and get the application up and running. It's kind of neat seeing the Vampire Coast unit sort of run out of the fog of the poison winds, but I still think that effect is a little bit egregious. It just works for the Vampire Coast since they have the Fog of the Damned spell, which essentially produces the same effect, and, well, you get the undead pirates coming out of the fog. It's all on theme. Anyway, ooh, interesting use of the deck droppers from the AI. Rather than using their missile capabilities, they are moving past our lines, and I'm not entirely sure, but it looks like they're actually going to land upon our catapults. Good job to the AI. Very, very nice. They'll be dishing out plenty of damage to that Plague Claw, I'm sure. Good job. I was expecting them to continue hovering around in the air, which is why I didn't really react to that all that much. But yeah, I'm impressed with the AI for doing so. Anyway, the rest of the enemy army continues making its way towards us, though any infantry unit that gets in range of the Death Globes or the Poison Wind Globadiers is suffering quite a bit. We have moved our unit of our Plague Priest in together with Ian Roxborough himself, who is just holding back the animated hulks so that they don't charge our main stacks here. We also have reinforcements arriving. We don't really need them, but as we can see, we are taking a little bit of damage on some of our frontline units of globe units. That said, most of them aren't actually dying, it's just HP damage so far, though that can change if we're not careful and if we get friendly fire. Oh guys, be careful doing that. You're gonna kill off a lot more globe units than the enemy is, but to be fair, that tends to happen in a lot of our armies. And that's, I guess, the problem with having an army with more elite than non-elite units, is that you are in much more likely position to damage more of your units that you're not trying to actually damage, unlike the clan rats and the Skaven slaves and the summoned units and whatnot. Anyway, I do enjoy watching all those death globes fly, however. And for whatever reason, this unit of deck droppers did not drop down upon us, and they will actually get ripped out of the air by the death globes. The battle is nearly ours at this point. Luther Harkin's still flying around, though it looks like we're having a tough time actually hitting him with any of those death globes. There is also a vampire fleet captain of death in here, and back there a gunnery wight has been firing away at us, periodically chucking those cackle fruit bombs, whatever they're called. He has two abilities, I always forget what they're called. There's Bomb Throw, there is... oh, it is Cackle Fruit. Okay. Good job, Ruinous. Alright, and all of those guys are just trying to hit Luther Harkin at this point. It's just impossible to hit him. But oh well. The Vampire Fleet Captain surrounded now, bravely fighting on, completely surrounded by the rats, but Ian Roxborough is whacking away at said captain as well. And Annie Sea Legs will be going down rather shortly. As for Luther Harkin, who refuses to land from that damn Terrorgeist, continuing to take pistol shots at us. I wonder how long it'll take him to run out of ammunition. Actually, by the looks of it, a long time. And he's got 66 kills to his name. The fact that the Poison Wind and Death Globes are able to stagger him is actually not working well for us. So one staggers him, and then the rest of them just miss. Yeah, he's barely taking any damage, and he's obviously regenerating as well. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, Death Globes and Poison Winds, not so good at that sort of thing. Looks like the enemy lured out, but might be a little bit easier to kill the gunnery wight. And we shall see in a little bit. I mean, technically the Poison Wind units, the Poison Wind Globadiers, are anti-large, but if they can't hit what they're firing at, that's a little bit more of an issue. Damn, it is taking a long time to bring this Vampire Fleet Captain down, but it's giving us some great shots. And are you using that Spirit Leech on the Plague Priest again? I don't know. Might be using it on one of the Death Globes or something. But I suppose it won't matter over much. As the Vampire Fleet Captain will at last begin fading away, melting away, and will at last go down together with the Rotting Promethean. And same thing for the Gunnery Wight, who once again has been taking pot shots and being staggered back by those Poison Winds. It's taking hits, but yeah, very tough to bring down like this. 30% missile resistance and 5% wards, which isn't too bad, but by the looks of it, a single unit of Jezzails or a single Warp Lightning Cannon would have been able to knock these guys out much, much faster. I'm almost even tempted to say a unit of Shuriken-throwing and Gutter Runners would have done way more damage, because I've definitely seen those guys dish the damage out. Now, we know that the Flamethrowers are quite good at bringing down single entities, but once again, with the Death Shriek Terrorgeist getting staggered up in the air, most of the sort of quote-unquote projectiles of the flamethrower streams do end up missing because of it. You can even get some help from the Skaven slave slingers. Oh, would you please just die, Luther? Oh, Doom Rocket sails by from the Warlock Engineer, and Luther's been melting away this entire time. This is just his regeneration and allowing him to hold on, plus the fact that we're missing like 90% of our shots, and due to him being staggered, and the sort of up and down hovering, I guess, that the Terror Geist does. And okay, will this one hit? Hey, that one managed to hit very, very nice, and Luther's now down to 10% HP. A couple more hits, and the madman will fall. There we go. There we go. A wash in a sea of green flame. But damn, that took a long time. Alright, a fun fight, but I'm definitely a little bit disappointed in how silly difficult it was to actually hit Luther Harkin with any of the death globes, or I should say all of the death globes, and the warp fire throwers as well. Look at their damage, 0, 359, and 703, and just because they couldn't hit him, and it is a function of the fact that he's an aerial unit, and the fact that the Terrorgeist kept getting staggered, or Deathshriek Terrorgeist, whatever, kept getting staggered, which essentially made them miss all of their shots. It does seem, thus, we will need a couple of Jezzails or a couple of Warp Lightning Cannons, something in the Death Globe army to actually be able to deal with flying units like that. Warp Fire Throwers and Death Globes should be able to take on single entity big units just fine as long as they're on the ground, but that aerial unit, certainly a problem. And I also want to point out that Howling Warp Gale would not have prevented him from being staggered, as, well, it just doesn't. The healing would heal us to full, but frankly, 2.2k, I can't say no to that. On the other hand, what if there's another army nearby that we can't reach? On the other hand, what other single army could actually deal with these guys? As long as we... I feel like we lost, like, I don't know, a couple of dozen extra Poison Wind units or Globe units that we would not have otherwise needed to lose if it wasn't for that silliness going on back there. Also, solid damage out of the gunnery, right? Yeah, take the money. Also, do we heal in this sea? Yeah, we do. Not by much, but we do heal, and that's just fine. Spell resistance plus 25%, not bad. Frankly, Skrolk could actually maybe use that, as I did want spell resistance for him earlier. Though on the other hand, or on the other paw, we would then have to move all the way down here, and I'm not sure that we'd bother. Skrolk will prefer to take this and then simply head into the sea lane to Cathay, assuming that we don't have a massive war against somebody else here somewhere at some point, but to Cathay we shall go. Anyway, with that, we're obviously out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we will look to wipe out as much, if not all, of the Awakened as possible, get that one last, hopefully, defeat trait out of the Hunt Some Marshals expedition with these guys, and then, well, start moving on to fighting Yuan Bo and fighting the, what is this faction called? Oh, it's just called Hexawatl. Yes. Alrighty, and fighting Hexawatl / Mazda Monday. Anyway, more rats to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.